like me start fires using their machines. Okay, I have an all plastic whip on here. This is an important part. I'm using my weed eater. We're back up here at the thistles, and I need to do retainment on them. These are ones that were burning out attritionally. You can see the difference now. They actually show up, and I'm not just babbling about different colored gray things. This is this patch. You can see it. I wish I had, you know, a drone for this shot. But if you could tell, it's broken out and it's spilled over the crest of this hill into a pristine field of just grasses and easy to deal with stuff, animal fodder, wildflower mix. Okay, there's nothing else. These are the culprits. These are the nasty little things, and they don't have that great of heads on there to show you how nasty they are right now, but that's the point, is that we're getting them before this can go to seed. There's no viable seeds in there. We're going to cut that puppy again and throw that to the ground. And this is alternative to poisoning. And these, if you sprayed these with your strongest, like you barely diluted purple cap Roundup, and you sprayed it on this stuff, only half of them die, and I swear the other half instantly become immune to it. So what I just did is I walked around, perimeter check, and this is who I got. These were our escapees. And it's serious. It's just like in a war. So one of them gets beyond your border and it goes off. It can have thousands of seeds on it. You have a whole nother patch to deal with. Okay, so you know, it's a no surrender, no prisoners type of thing here. And it's 100 degrees. It is bone freaking dry. But that brings us to the other point. We've already been out here. We've ground. If you know about making fires on purpose, look at that. Okay, I have thistle fluff mixed with fine ground beat ups. I mean, it's ready. You could rub two of these silicate grasses together and make a spark. So all of a sudden our little perimeter lines that I already ground around here, you know, those start to make more and more sense. So we're going to go through this. We're going to carefully work on it. We're not going to get crazy stupid. We're going to keep looking back at what we've worked on. I don't have a running hose out here. That would be the next thing. I do have wet ground cloths, big square things that I can mat it out with. I do have my shovel here. Things to scrape and get ahead of fires with are some of your most important tools, so that you can make a different fire line if it jumps yours. That's the best that we can do. We need to use this heat, and if we let all these get mature, this is the point, is that we're cutting them again. They've used the last of their root moisture. There's no more moisture for them in this ground. This is their own plant life that they're spending. And the seeds are still only that small. There's not even a thistle thorn to it yet. So, not even a thistle. So anyhow, trying to make this quick. I'm talking super fast and everything so that you guys don't have to listen to me babble, babble, babble in a slow monotone about little details like this. But important, all of it, you know. If you were following what I was saying, you would be out here this time of the year in the heat trying to do this, or you'd be having your people do it. And yeah, this is the goal. Try and get it before the next wave is mature or anything. You don't want to just scatter seeds. If you've waited 2 more weeks from now and everything was mature, then what have you done? You just help them throw their stuff on the ground. You're wasting your fuel and your time and all that. So, okay, we're going to grind these puppies down, and then they will be inches shorter. They won't have the height, the spread. They'll be trapped inside these borders that we've given them. They'll be retained. They won't have gotten off any seeds for this generation. So the library from this year, the seed library, the index in the ground, the ones being kept, the seeds that lay latent and can sprout up later, they will not have this year's wave laying there waiting. No more. And every time you see them sprout, you can go, oh God, some resprouted again. But that's that same pile of them in the ground burning themselves up, and you're going to come hit them, hit them, hit them. And this problem's never going to get any bigger. California. Then we're going to check on our willow. Looks pretty happy to me. Look, sitting in a pond. Look at the water still pouring out of there. Literally sitting in the water, but look at the field that it's in. If we'd left this out here as an install, just be fried. It's been over 100 degrees for a week or so here, and that's how it gets. And if you look at the ground down here, in between this grass, and the grass is just ready. I mean, it's bone dry. Nothing left to it. The soil's cracked. Those are cracks running through the ground, and who knows how far they go. I mean, this whole hillside is actually so dried out that it's cracked and fractured all the way up. And there's a spring that's in the hill that now, you know, during the winter is evident. You could almost see it running. Now it's trapped down there. So the tubes that we have to harvest that water, pumping that all the way down, not pumping it, but letting it run free without obstruction with gravity downhill all the way to the other end of the property, except for the overflow, which comes down through this, meaning when the tank is full and we're not using it, it spills out of there and runs down here. So that's the rate of the actual spring that we have gathered. That's what we're taking out of the hill. A vein of wetness that runs down the side of this hill. And took me a lot of years to figure out how a hill this big, you can climb up to the top of this, it's a little scissor ridge, and you're looking down the other side. It's all rocks, and I would try and figure out, you know, how this could hold enough water to run these springs heavy like this all summer long. We went through a drought and this thing was still running. And then finally a geologist friend, you know, showed me in an old textbook from school. And behind this, what you can't see is it goes down through a valley and up to other bigger peaks and stuff. And because the earth is stratified, laid down in layers, water can be trapped on top of a clay or a rock or something and sliding down off those far mountains, and it literally hits the valley, and it's like a roller coaster. It doesn't have anywhere to go, and it literally comes up the other side and then down the next little roll. So this is all probably water that's coming out of the far tall peaks that you can't see here, that's come down like a Roman aquifer or something and come down and up the other side with the pressure of its flow and across. And anyhow, that's how it was explained to me. We've reached pond level here. Look down below. Look, we have flowing water. Do you see that? That's actually pouring down into little puddles. If you watched the other videos on this, then you saw that this was a dry little nothing here. So there would be no life at this point. If we hadn't done this, this would be dry and all this water would be passing underground and out to the creek. As it is, we borrow it for the gardens for a couple hours every day, and then the rest of the time it's diverted right here, fills this up, and then this little trough here, you can see the dam is actually open. I don't know if we're going to go for a full pond. You can see the saturation still only out to here, but look, you know what those are? Those are raccoon prints. And so our little raccoon friends have no saliva. If you can try and imagine eating a mouthful of food with no saliva, it'd be almost impossible. You'd be choking, it'd just be dry, be gagging on it. So they have to have a water source. Raccoons can't live without water nearby. When you think you see them washing up, they're actually eating each individual piece of food with a little bit of water, so that, you know, you use their hands, get some water, eat the next piece. That's how they work. That's how they evolved. And they have to have a water source. So the raccoons around here, even though there's a creek there, remember, watering holes can be for all levels, from insects on up, amphibians, all the way to bigger animals. It's just like in the savannah, the watering holes where the predators hang out. They know you have to go to. So the more options you give things, the more different places they can sneak up to water and get it and use it and then not be preyed upon. So that's pretty cool. I think that willow's going to do okay. Here you go. Released a little layer of the mountain onto it. Around its base, down the side. Filling this up. And then this leaches back off through the ground and into there. We don't use any fertilizers or anything. This is just growing on dirt. Oop, little deer prints. Everybody's coming out here. The deers will be able to come out. You can see how dry everything else is. Look at the green grass that they can nibble on, and then there'll be other creek flowers and everything else that moves down. These are a type of tarweed that are already going to be taller standing than anything out in the fields. You can see them kind of hovered around here being green. The only thing is I might open up this choke a little bit and let that drain a little bit more. I'm going to come check it at the end of the day. I don't mind if that's actually sitting flat. and not sitting in a pool. That's a little excessive even for a willow tree. But in 100 degrees, you can see that it's just pumping along. It had gone a little yellow and now it's not. So that's what you want. You want this thing to live in excess and get huge and put tap roots down to the creek layer and be a big old weeping willow out here. Next to a beautiful little pond. That's the hopes and dreams anyhow. Okay. We'll see you next time on the Dirt Journal. Don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell me what I'm doing right, and don't be afraid to tell me what I'm doing wrong either. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time.